This is Kokayi, and you're watching Behind the Beats.
Let's talk about who your production influences are.
Wow, it's a lot. Who did I respect? I used to mess with the Bomb Squad heavy. Bomb Squad, definitely Rick Rubin, the early Run DMC stuff. Primo, of course, because of the sample game. Old and new, I mean,
Don't matter.
Charles Stepney, all the stuff that you hear, the Rotary Connection stuff, Donny Hathaway. I got a Charles Stepney produced, what was the Ramsey Lewis. It's a Charles Stepney Ramsey Lewis record. That's bonkers. But definitely Charles Stepney, Mizell Brothers, early Teddy Riley was crazy. I mean, it was always people that I thought were changers of the specific genre, or when they came in, everything got different. When Timbaland started getting heavy, everything got different. Like, it all got different. Like, it wasn't even the same anymore. Like, people had to respect them. Now the contemporaries like DJ Khalil, definitely the whole low budget crew, the Bama Odyssey is a bonkers. You got Knots, you got Bing, whoever's producing the stuff for Janelle Monáe, everybody at Wonderland Arts is crazy. And I really I gotta go back and look at the label on the old Outkast records, because a lot of the Janelle Monáe stuff sounds like the dude that produced certain songs on Outkast, like Bombs Over Baghdad, seemed like he had some hand in the Janelle Monáe stuff. That's really what I'm looking at. That's what I'm peeping.
If you were locked in a room with an MC and you had to produce a whole album with one MC, who would it be?
See, you talking brothers. Honestly, because I think we would get along well, Mos. I think Mos and I would get along well. I think I'd be able to do something with Mos. Yeah. I got secret. I'm working on a secret joint with my man.
Talk about your production process. Like, how do you start a beat off?
Most of the time, when I'm working on beats, I start off possibly just like, it depends. If it's sample based, I'm listening to a whole bunch of records, going through a whole bunch of records, chopping them joints up using I use the Lil Reason joint, Rewire, what's the other joint? Rebirth. So I'll take it in Rebirth, chop it up, then I'll drop it into the X6. Then I start playing around on the pads in the X6 and get everything the way I want it. And then I just start playing around with the chops and moving stuff around and see what instruments can go here or go there or whatever. If it's just play based, a lot of times I just start off, man, come down, meditate for a second, empty my head, and just start playing, messing around until it all starts happening. And then just, my biggest thing is I gotta go through a rack of drums before I can even start programming the drum beat. Because if the drums to me don't sound right, like I can have a melody in my head, I can have the bass line in my head, but if the drums ain't right, I'm mad.
How important is it to be a sampling producer and a producer who plays keys?
I think it's important to be able to do both. I think if you can sample well, there's a certain clientele and certain client base that you're gonna have, and certain MCs or singers that you're gonna be able to draw in, and certain things you're gonna be able to do with that singer, that MC that likes that type of sound. Also being able to play though keeps you from having to pay somebody else, and I don't want to have to pay nobody. I like publishing checks. Those joints are nice. I don't want to share with you. I mean, unless it's a straight rip, I don't want to share with you. I'm sorry. I'll be some of the joints. I'm like, you know what? Catch me. Catch me. You catch me, you can have your money. You don't catch me though, you can't have your money.
About your early days on the major, like how you actually came into the industry up until now.
Early days, I started out, my first professional record was 94 with a young dude named Tariq Trotter. Nah. It was me and my boy Sub from here, from DC. We got hooked up with this producer named Ezra, who was also here. He used to come to the cyphers at the Freestyle Union. And he asked us if we wanted to go to New York and make a record. So he was like, all right, whatever, dude. Yeah, I didn't believe dude. He ain't believe. Nobody believed him. I didn't believe him. Sub didn't believe him. He was just like, yeah, this dude keep talking about making a record. I ain't making no records with this dude, whatever. Then one day he pulled up in the front of the house. He was like, yeah, man, so time to go. I was like, I mean, you know, free trip to New York now. So, yeah, let's go. So we hop in the car. We get to this studio in Brooklyn that looked crazy. Just a red door and off of Ditmas Ave, and go in the studio and walk in and then running the, it's huge inside, running the two MCs from New York, from Long Island. I think one of them was from Hempstead. His name is Shalik, and Utasi from Hempstead, Long Island. And then this other cat was coming from Philly to be on the record, and his name was Tariq Trotter, aka Black Thought. And that was my first record, and it was with Steve Coleman, who is a jazz musician who was on, if you listen to Do You Want More, you hear Steve Coleman and Cassandra Wilson are both on that record. That's because the Roots had worked with Steve Coleman and Cassandra Wilson earlier, before they worked with, before they did the Geffen record. And so that was my first foray into it, and then traveled on the road with them for like, it was like a long time. And then in '97, ended up getting a call from BMG France, and they wanted me, Sub, and Black Indian to make a group and put out a record on BMG France, and we did that. And then another deal on La Belle Blue with me, Sub, and Black Indian as Opus Akaben, the name that we created out in Oakland, California, when we were staying out there. And then bam, that was history. Everything else was tour buses and 25 countries later.
So your passport has many stamps.
My passport stamps are solid. I'm good. I'm good on stamps. Like Tabby just went to China. He was asking me if I've been before. I was like, yeah, I got pictures on the Great Wall. So yeah, my joints are solid.
Okay.
I said, yeah. So I said, she was like, I'm not gonna frame the joint, because if I frame it, that means it's like, this is it. Like, this is all. Like, this is all I could do to, after this, it won't be nothing else. Like, if you just frame the nominated joints, then the actual statue won't be yours. So I'm like, yeah, nah, the statue gonna be mine. I ain't framing mine either. But nah, that joint came about. It was, we was talking, and she was working on the next record, and she was like, come in and do some stuff. I was like, all right. So we came in, she had an idea for a song. She was doing a Minnie Riperton joint. And I think they was trying to find some drums. And drums didn't work. And so I ended up beatboxing like all the drums. So all that is beatboxing. And then we added some, I think either Roddy added some drums or James added some drums. But it was her it was her singing mostly. And I sang some backup stuff. And she put me in. She was just like, featuring Kokayi. I was like, alright, dope. Because if you just produce a song for urban alternative or for whatever, you don't get a Grammy nomination. If you actually perform on the song, you get a Grammy nomination. Had she not put featuring Kokayi on that song, I would not have a Grammy nomination.
Before you get into that, you just put out a album, Dinosaurs.
Robots and Dinosaurs.
Yeah, you recorded that here?
I recorded that here, right here, on this machine, using this program right here. Shout out to Peter Quiscard. Pete Quiscard, the winner. But this is the new version. Peter Quiscard joint. Yeah, but I recorded everything here using that mic. Using this program. Recorded it here and took it out and mixed it at partially at Omega and partially at another spot with my man Priest.
That you bring. Stay with me while we grow old, and we will live each day in the springtime, loving you. I see your sun come shining through.